I'm designing a house and there's a spectacular piece of property or a great view, it's important that the house be in harmony with that view and that there be some sort of dialogue between the shape of the house and the land. The area we're in right now is pretty much the heart of the White Mountains. It's a great part of the state of New Hampshire. This house is called the Notch House because when I first met with the homeowners on the site, you can see the profile of the mountains. You can see Franconia Notch and you can see Mount Lafayette. There's this really beautiful line between the mountains and the sky that created a very interesting profile. So when we were designing the house as these sort of series of rectangular masses and assembling them, where we have the two-story mass up high and the primary bedroom suite down low, the connector between the bedroom suite and the house became the notch. So therefore it's a glass bridge that disappears. And the second floor gave us some height that sort of started to reflect the height of Mount Lafayette. That profile of the house mimics the mountain and the notch coming through. When you drive onto the site and you see the mountains and you see the house, there's really a play between that organic line and the modern line. And those two coming together is one of these great subtle features of the house and gave it its name, the Notch House. The homeowners for this project were really excellent clients to work with. And when we first met, they talked about wanting a house that would remind them of traveling. They wanted the house to have a bit of a hospitality feel so that it would make them feel like they were traveling even when they were home. The design for this house was pretty set from some of the early sketches that I was doing with the client. They wanted flat roofs, they wanted the house to feel modern and to be modern. Some of the things that I brought into the mix were this idea of separating the primary bedroom suite from the house with a little bridge and having a second floor be sort of a suspended box that kind of floated. But those were nuances of the design. The idea of having this sort of house that had a centerpiece with kind of pavilions on each side was something that we discussed and came up with really early. The concept is that when you are walking through a space that you always have a view in front of you, something that you're looking towards. The other part of that is what your experience is like when you're moving through a house. So this house is designed with actually a sort of axis that runs the entire length, and that set up the sort of backbone for the whole house. The bridge connection that connects the primary bedroom to the house was meant to be a bit of a break between being in the house and going to the bedroom suite. And that was to sort of set you up psychologically for a change of this is where I'm living and this is where I'm sleeping, and the difference subtly suggested by just moving through this glassy bridge.
In this project, there's a lot of intentionality between a lot of really small movements. The datums that run through it, the details, the frames that are cut perfectly around everything. A lot of the details are shared, and that creates a sense of wholeness to the project where things seem intentional and not random. And the design elements come through and you notice patterns. We have a lot of visuals, we have a lot of sight that you see from different parts of the project. I think that makes the project really, really strong.
From my background, I love materials, and the ability to use wood and stone and bark and these beautiful wood floors and large pieces of glass and all of those materials together. It was a great palette, I felt, to use for this house, to make you feel like you were connected with nature because of these natural materials, but also in a modern way. So Matt, my architectural project manager, had shown me the modern line when it first came out, and when I started the design of this house, I remembered that we could do some large pieces of glass, so I reached out.
My discussion with Paul wasn't that Paul is asking, can you make me a window this particular size? Paul asked the question, how big can you make this window?
He was great in getting me information to start the design thinking for this house, but that as we progressed, he was also able to give me some advice on how to install the windows. I had never used the Marvin Modern line before, so he really became my resource for technical information. How are these windows going to work in the house? How do we make them perform the way they were designed to perform?
We look at our role as working with the architects to make sure that they understand the product line, they understand what the capabilities are of some different collections. It's almost a consultative type of arrangement that we have with them so that they feel comfortable speccing our product and feel comfortable knowing that it's going to withstand what they're putting it to on that particular location.
So with working with Matt, we got a lot of information on the Marvin Modern windows, which we use, but when it came to doors, we were looking at the Ultimate line. Matt was really good at telling us how we could get the same finish on the exterior so that things would match, and also the size of those units. We had some pretty tall doors and some tall sliders in some of the bedrooms. Being able to coordinate those two lines and have similar finishes but also similar appearances was really important, and Matt was great about letting us know that this would all work well together and was designed to do so.
To combine Marvin Modern and Marvin Ultimate on the same project is done fairly often because the Marvin Ultimate product is so flexible. There's a lot of options that can help draw that appearance very, very close to what's available on Modern.
I first came to the site when it was finished, and my first reaction was, this looks exactly like we designed it, which is a good goal to have.
I'm just in awe of the views, of the size of the glass, of the location of the glass, and what Paul did to bring it all together was just tremendous.
It was exciting to have the homeowners put their trust in me and basically say, we've seen your work, we want you to design a house for us. That sense of trust really was so inspiring as I started out on this new venture, having worked for other architecture firms and now having my own studio. That will always be special about this house for me because it was an exciting project. I really loved the way it came out. It was a great experience with the homeowners. They were such a pleasure to work with. All of that makes for a great project. It's hard to not be proud of it and excited about it.